Well, hello, hello, hello to all you wisdom walkers out there. This is Jojo Maria and Saroma coming to you with the astrology for self mastery for the last half of March. And because we're still in Pisces season, I got out my fish earrings. I have worn these in years. I even forgot I had them. But, yeah, that was back in the day, Studio 54, all that kind of stuff, the disco days. Ah, yes, here up north in central Wisconsin, we are having a major snowstorm like what I didn't experience last year. I can see out my window. It's about at least 2 feet, maybe a little more, 2 feet of snow that has come down, and they expect more. So it's a kind of day to really just be laid back and just chill. Yeah. So I invite you to do that because it's not that it's a lot of aspects that I need to share with you because we only had 26 this year compared to like, January, November, all that stuff. But I am going to talk about 3i Atlas. And there's just like on the 20th, that day, there's a lot going on the 20th. Yeah. And then just some other aspects, I'm going to just take my time and lay the information out. And also remember that I am just an astrology interpreter. And that's really how I study it by reading what other people are talking about. But also, it is an interpretation. So make sure that that's what you're doing is taking information in and then discerning for yourself personally, how does this resonate with me? Is this an alignment with what I'm aware of or perceiving or want to perceive? In other words, yeah, own it. Own your stuff. Take responsibility because nobody, my darlings, can make you have happy endings except yourself. Yeah. And I do this because I really truly do believe that the cosmos is a guide for us here on Earth. I truly believe we come from the stars. So I think it's just another source of divination, of wisdom for us to guide us on our journey. It's like, to me, the compass that we can use. It's the universal compass to help guide our way and to validate things for us because if you don't have a compass and you don't have a direction and you don't want a direction, you know what's going to happen. Yeah, you're going to be drifting and going to be drifting into some places that you really don't want to drift into. And at the end of the day, yeah, it's all about learning, right? That's how we learn most of the time through what we don't really want, what we don't really like. But you know, I'm Pisces. I'm like, if we can avoid that, avoid it. Like, I just want to stay in the flow of things. Yeah, I also have fire in my essential energy, so that really does need to be directed in some way because the fire out of control, as we know, it is not pretty, not pretty at all. Hey, Emily SP722. She says, classic and classy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love those compliments. Yeah. Yeah. I had a very classy mama. Yeah. She did, what do they call, haute porte every day going to work. Yeah. She was a mess. So let me give you these two astrology quotes that I came across that I think really give us a nice kind of overview of the energy of this month, which we're only halfway through. Today is the Ides of March. If you've done Shakespeare, you would know about Julius Caesar and how the diviner said to him, beware the Ides of March. So, yeah, here we are at this halfway point, which is wonderful. So, as Lena Stevens said, the theme for March is upgrade. Managing the intensity of the times can be challenging if you resist what wants to change and dig your heels in around your attachments. This month will require flexibility, acceptance, neutrality, and enthusiasm around what is possible rather than despair in difficult situations. This is really important. The upgrade theme of the month will express itself in many different ways. The most important is the upgrade of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. This may require further release and completion of old patterns, cycles, and behaviors. If you are not proactive in doing so, oh, yeah, spirit will do it for you by bringing in something unexpected that forces you to make a necessary change. Yes, 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 that's how the universe works. And then from moon omens for the end of March, as the fog lifts, the eclipse portal closes and all planets resume forward movement. The final weeks of March 2026 will bring fresh starts and new beginnings for many of us. Can be for all of us if you want it. We are entering a chapter that rewards courage, authenticity, and conscious creation. The invitation for all of us will be to act from clarity and self awareness, gained from the time spent in introspection, and make aligned choices. Yes. How wonderful. Yeah. I've been having a good ride through March, and I usually do. Usually when you come back to your sun sign, when you come back to your personal new year, it can really be a very uplifting time, inspiring time, and you feel some enthusiasm. I know I do. Also, I've connected with people from my past that I really love, and that also is just really very, very enthusiastic and satisfying. Many happy endings in March for me. Yeah. So this still is Women's History Month, and I again encourage you to honor the divine feminine in your life. Who are those women in your life that make a difference, that support you, that nurture you? Also, the divine feminine within you, that part of you that is big hearted, compassionate, loving, soft, gentle, flowing. Yeah. So, really important time, especially with what's going on in the world with this unconstitutional, no reason for war that's happening. We really need an energy to combat that. So we need a lot of gentleness at this time. So yes, thank God it's Women's History Month. And also, I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day coming up this week to everyone who celebrates. I grew up in New York City, so the St. Patrick's Day parade was always wonderful. I remember cutting out of class when I was in college to walk over to 52nd Street, Columbus Avenue to see the parade go by. It's just spectacular. I don't know what's going to be happening this year, but back in the day, it was really fun. And when I was in elementary school, we always learned those Irish songs, "When Irish Eyes Are Smiling," and, we would sing and wear green and celebrate and hope we could find a four-leaf clover, yeah, so happy St. Patrick's Day. Ashe. So again, as I said, we are still in Pisces season for a reason. It will be leaving out this week though, so. And to start off my report for you tonight, I do want to start talking about 3iATLAS because from Monday, tomorrow into Tuesday is when this cosmic messenger is going to be leaving our solar system, perhaps, um, and it's flying by Jupiter. So it's mixing its energy with Jupiter, biggest planet in our solar system, the planet of expansion, ancient wisdom, knowledge, all that good stuff. So I found for you, and again, this stuff is online, it's very easy to get a hold of. what are the astrological interpretations? Now, I shared one with you from a video, but I did a little more research. And so I pulled out this information, one from AI itself, and then this other one from a person, I'm pretty sure he's an astrologer from the UK on LinkedIn. And I really like the stuff he threw down. Yeah, but people got biblical interpretations, all kind of stuff out there. But it's just, 20 years ago, there would not have been as much accessible information as it is today. So I'm like a kid in a candy shop with this stuff. I just love it. So let me share with you these two interpretations I found that are very much in sync. So let's go first with the AI. It says 3iATLAS passes closest to Jupiter on March 16th, 2026, and it's still at 15 degrees of Cancer. That's Jupiter. Its exaltation point, which means happy, elated, triumphant, rejoiceful. This interstellar object is astrologically interpreted as a powerful catalyst for collective consciousness shifts, spiritual awakening, and accelerating personal transformation. Often viewed as an omen, back in the day for restructuring societal paradigms, it symbolizes the opening of three eyes: vision, heart, and womb, driving humanity toward increased connection and collaboration, particularly through Sagittarius themes. So, those of you who are Sagittarius, you know a little bit about that. And then from this person on LinkedIn, I forget his name, but I did put it down. I did acknowledge him on the next card I'll share with you. He says, "What does this mean for us?" While astrology cannot predict exact events tied to a single comet, history shows celestial anomalies often coincide with pivotal transitions. The presence of 3i Atlas during Mars Jupiter harmonies points to themes of courageous choices and leaps of faith, redefining power through ethics rather than dominance, expansion of frontiers, technological, spiritual, and even interplanetary. In short, 3i Atlas may mirror our collective opportunity to break free from outdated cycles and embrace a higher vision of who we can become. And then the bigger picture. The comet's journey from October 25 through March 2026 spans an energetic window of activation and integration. It challenges us to ask, what beliefs are driving my actions? Where do I need courage to grow? Am I ready to leave behind fear based patterns and step into something larger than myself? As we watch this interstellar traveler blaze through our skies, remember, it carries the wisdom of distant stars. Maybe, just maybe, its timing is a cosmic nudge, the universe reminding us that expansion is inevitable and the future is bigger than we've imagined. And this is Tamia Tadi B. Wow. Just wow. That's like some wow. Yeah. And we've been hearing this kind of information about our collective consciousness raising, going to that higher timeline, which I'm always talking about. Um, but it's been like 30 years, maybe even 40 years going back to where persons, it was usually very esoteric information, meaning not everybody, it wasn't easily accessible, books and lectures and that kind of thing. So it's more ready now, but I'm telling you, it's been over 40 years that this stuff has been talked about this collective evolution in human consciousness. And it's so fascinating to me to see that people are, still talking it, still interpreting it in that way, because I really do think it's real. And God knows we need it, right? We need to get out of the medieval times and we need to go forward into The 21st century. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Daphne. Daphne says, "Hey." Always a pleasure, my dear. Always a pleasure to have you here. Absolutely. So, I share 3i Atlas energy for you because there are many of you that watch me, listen to me, who are empaths, very sensitive, especially you water people out there, and you know what I'm talking about. And just know that already it's happening. Like, I could be laying in bed right now. I'm feeling this energy, and it's not just from 3iATLAS, but definitely 3iATLAS is part of it. So definitely, and there's no planet interesting, no planetary aspects that are, introduced or leaving, So these next 2 days are blank for planetary aspects, depending on where you're at in the world, because down under they're going to get things a little earlier than us. But it's still interesting that there is this space just for the 3i Atlas energy. And so I'm just saying, just be aware that you will feel that pull. Those of you who are sensitive, and those of you who may not know you're sensitive, but just know that because this is not something to treat like it's not an anomaly and something that is affecting us vibrationally because it is. So just remember that. Yeah, if you start to get a little out of sorts or whatever, say, oh, that's right, 3i Atlas is leaving. Yeah. And it ain't till something leaves that we really then can start to get what was that about? And that will happen for us collectively and also personally, individually. Yeah. And now, as we move on, we come to Wednesday, March 18th, which is my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Cheryl. And on this day, we have Venus in Aries squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And I had been reading some more information about what a square is and what an opposition is. And I like that what I'm seeing from astrologers is to say it's not just that it's tight energy, it has a purpose. So, squares and oppositions come along to really help us become more aware, more conscious, and to grow. They're like evolutionary teachers. Yeah. So just keep that in mind because on March 18th, Venus squares Jupiter in Cancer, inviting caution surrounding overgiving, overdoing, and overextending ourselves. While the alignment of the two traditional benefics supports warmth, benevolence, and generosity, it can also highlight the dangers and the shadows of being overly generous with others and ask us to make sure we give from a full cup. Yeah, absolutely. And I have been burned. I've had my butt kicked by spirit so many times from over. Um, and it's so important because you really can work yourself to death and you can, worry yourself to death. And really important with this is to really ask yourself, why do I feel the need to exhaust myself to, um, you know, give away all of my energy, all of my reserves for someone else to the point where I can't function or I get sick, like, what's that about? Self-sabotage, guilt, shame, blame. Yeah. Ask the question if you're finding yourself in the situation consciously, um, because we need to shift that. You have to set yourself as a priority when you are in the business of serving others. Because if you ain't okay, you ain't got nothing to give. So then you're just going through the motions, transferring your pain and not really being of service. So this is really important and interesting. It comes on the 18th. Yeah. Now, also on this day, we get a sextile. And I found out too that the sextile is a flow energy, but you have to choose to participate in it. Yeah, it's not like good fortune coming. It requires you to consciously use the energy. So, this is a day of pleasure and good vibes as we allow ourselves to relax and indulge in the finer things in life. Taking the road less traveled can bring nice surprises our way. This intuitive aspect helps us see all the possibilities that life has to offer us. Seize the day and don't let anxiety prevent you from having fun. That anxiety I was just talking about, over anxiety. Yeah, absolutely. And then also on the 18th, this is when we have our new moon in Pisces. Doo, 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 doo. And the theme here is about trust the process. Yes. And this new moon is going to be conjunct Neptune and Saturn, of course, who are both in Aries. And then it's sextiling Uranus and Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius. So brings some coloring to this. So here we go. New moon in Pisces, a new season is about to begin. A new season is about to begin, and the wise new moon can help see all the possibilities the world has to offer. Shed the burdens of the past and let them go. The future is bright. This event is the first new moon that is not an eclipse since the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius last month. For this reason, it closes the eclipse window and offers us an invitation to begin the journey of integrating everything we experienced in the past month and a half. Really, I'll say the last 3 months. We are not supposed to have all the answers now. The Pisces new moon reminds us that the seeds grow in the dark, and the first stages of their growth are not visible to the eye. I love that, right? Seeds grow in the dark. We forget this and we keep so looking for the evidence, of our efforts or of our desires, our wishes, our hard work. And we really need to remember how the universe works, you know? All of that is seeding something, and it's never just about us, right? So there's other people and situations involved in what our happy endings are about, what us getting to fulfillment is. And so please remember that things grow in the dark and be patient. That's the big piece of this message about trusting the process. Be patient. The Pisces new moon reminds us that progress can't be rushed, that seeds grow in the dark, that they need time to sprout, and that when it looks like nothing is happening, a lot is going on beneath the surface. This new moon does not demand immediate action, but rather invites us to deepen our receptivity and refine our alignment with what is true before we set an intention, act on a vision, or make a move. And for those of you who haven't done your annual commitments yet, haven't created your compass for 2026, where it is you're headed, where it is you want to be at the end of this year. How do you want to feel about yourself? What do you want to think about yourself? What do you want to feel about yourself? Right? And believe. So after this new moon, or you could do it during. If you haven't done that, do it. I don't care if it's just one commitment that you make. Do it. It will make a difference. Trust me. And it's also the way that we don't have to be victim to life because to get to our goals, to our happy endings, right? It's like a roller coaster ride. It's not linear and smooth. There's twists, there's turns, there's go arounds. And so once you set your goal, though, you're more accepting of the journey and you realize, oh, okay, I had to take that detour and get back here to learn and release something so I can go ahead, you know? It's that kind of thing. So I'm just encouraging with that. I'll put the link again to what I offered online PDF that'll guide you through the development of commitments, not resolutions, but things that really, really can work for you and that you will be very happy about. Yeah, absolutely. Next, new moon in Pisces, pay attention to your dreams. These days, our sensitivity is heightened. Amen. We feel more impacted by everything happening in the collective field, and more information comes through in dreams or reaches us through symbolism and synchronicities. Since Pisces rules the pineal gland and the production of melatonin, did you know that? Our oniric, and it means dream life, takes a central role during this lunar cycle. Our dreams are more vivid and filled with relevant messages and information from our unconscious. Beyond that, it can help us understand in what direction to move. Yeah. And I put put in a new moon little picture, and realized I covered up some of the writing there, but anyway, it's all good. Ultimately, the Pisces new moon is an invitation to cultivate trust in the unseen. I'll repeat that. Ultimately, the Pisces new moon is an invitation to cultivate trust in the unseen, in our intuition, in divine timing, and in all those processes the rational mind can't grasp. Yes. So, our going forward is not an intellectual exercise, my dears. No, it is so much bigger than that. All right, so here are the aspects. New moon in Pisces conjunct Neptune and Saturn in Aries. And these are the stars. These are the stars of the cosmos right now because they have come together at 0 degrees in Aries, right? Back in January. And that planted a huge cosmic seed for us as human beings. And it hasn't happened in, I don't know, what is it, like 4,000 years, something crazy like that. I mean, it's been a minute. So this means that we really are entering into a new era. So anytime any of the planets, including the sun, are interacting with Neptune and Saturn in Aries, yeah, we pay attention. So this is the sun and the moon in the late degrees of Pisces will be conjunct Neptune and Saturn. The activation of the Saturn Neptune conjunction on this new moon is an invitation to set something completely new into motion. This alignment asks us to assert ourselves with maturity and to take full responsibility for ourselves and our dreams. As we are dealing with Neptune, a very mystical planet, and Saturn, a very pragmatic one, we are being asked to ground our visions in reality and dream with our eyes open and our feet well planted on the earth. This is a time to bring new visions into form while making sure we do so through devotion rather than force. And what this means here about devotion, that is about you have the faith, you are believing, sight unseen, with no evidence, that what is right for you will manifest, that you can have it, that you're worthy of it. Okay? And so this is very, very important, very powerful because it is so easy for us to give up on our dreams, so easy for us to think, oh, that will never happen. Don't do that to yourself. What you don't want to happen is what's not right for you. But if it's right for you, yes, my darlings, it will happen. Trust me. See that? Baby grand piano sitting up in my living room. There was a time when I thought, because these things cost, they usually cost like 10,000, at least $10,000, okay, and up. And if you get a new one, forget it. It's got to be about 50,000. So I just was like, oh my God, could this ever happen? And guess what? I kept believing. I kept believing. I kept seeing it. I kept believing, and it showed up easily and effortlessly. So remember that, especially during the energy of this new moon on the 18th. Now, here's the next aspect. This is sextiling Uranus and Pluto. The sextile to Uranus will facilitate change, innovation, and quantum leaps toward the future. Uranus's harmonious alignment with this new moon facilitates the process of materializing our vision and setting something radically new into motion during the upcoming lunar cycles. The sun and the moon are also in a wider sextile aspect to Pluto, the planet ruling the deepest transformational processes now in Aquarius. Pluto's activation invites profound emotional and psychological self work, right? I call it self mastery, and helps us access a deeper understanding of our and others' true motives, intentions, and desires. The sextile between the new moon and Pluto increases the transformative potential of this event, both on a collective level and for each of us personally. In Aquarius, Pluto reminds us that personal and collective healing are not separate, and one naturally ripples into the other, into the larger web of relationships and communities we are part of. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah. Quantum leaps toward the future. Innovation. Just these are just such high vibrational words, that you can feel it. When I was reading this and putting this together, I could just feel it, feel the truth of it. It's so magnificent. And then here's some more message from my astro butterfly. She says, "We are being asked to trust that what we surrender is not lost. Everything we let go of is making space for something more meaningful, something more aligned with our authentic self. As old identities and ambitions dissolve, new longings and desires may begin to arise quietly, still in an undefined form. A new moon in Pisces always invites us into a liminal space." I just had to stop because I love that word. I love that word. As a writer, a lot of times I'm just looking for a word that has a particular vibration and that word liminal, oh, I could write on that all day. But that liminal space, that's what we're in. That's what we're going through. Yeah. And so the liminal space, a place where the threshold between what is ending and what is beginning is not clear. A place where what has been still coexists with what is taking shape. Moon omens. I Forgive me. I thought the first part was by Astro Butterfly. It's the second part that is, but moon omens hit it. They hit it. They used my favorite word, liminal. Love it. And that's the time we're going through, folks. We really are. We're leaving that old paradigm, that medieval stuff. We're leaving out of that and we're moving into a whole new era of human growth and development. So this new moon, says Astro Butterfly, can help us see exactly who we can bring a dream, exactly how we can bring a dream, or something we never thought would actually materialize into reality in one way or another. The outcome may not be exactly how we originally imagined it, but it will nevertheless be an expression of something authentic, something that has been building for a long time and is now ready to take form in more concrete ways. Whew! Wow. Wow. Isn't that wonderful? Just feel that. Put your hand over your heart, like the venerable monk says, and just close your eyes. Just feel the energetic of all that beautiful writing about what is going on for us with this new moon. Can you feel it? It is just, yeah. It brings a sense of peace. It brings a sense of calm because it's giving us hope. that we really are going forward out of all this mess and chaos. Like something new is coming. Absolutely. And Miranda Hurd said, "Hi, with my happy Earth Day to me, the 19th." So she's born after my sister and before the 20th. But Miranda, the 20th has such powerful energy. Your birthday coming right before that. Yeah, big time. Oh, be very open and aware to the blessings, honey, that are coming. Yeah, just like my sister on the 18th, because this energy is no joke. It's no joke. Yeah. Kathy Brown 8112 says, "Good evening. Good evening, Kathy. Thank you for being here and listening in." Yeah. And Maria Brown, is that a ZLU or Z1U? Says, "Good evening to good evening. Thank you for letting me know that you're here. I love it." So, folks, are you ready? Should I do a drum roll? Yes, let me get a drum. Here we go with Friday, March the 20th. Yeah, this is huge. This is just wonderful, huge, powerful energy. So, first we go into Aries season. Yes. And this poster I always use first because it honors the autumn equinox, which happens down under. We talk about, patriarchy and male dominance, but we're also very northern hemisphere dominant. And we don't treat the down under like it even exists. So I make sure that I can, you know, acknowledge because there are people I know from New Zealand, Australia, and yeah, it matters. They're not going into the spring, they going into autumn. So that's a whole different kind of an experience that they're having. And so clearly, my reports are definitely for people in the Northern Hemisphere, but I haven't forgotten about the folks down under. They're very important. They're holding up the world. They're holding up the world. Yeah. So for those who are up here, Aries season does bring us into the spring. And of course, I want to say happy birthday to all you Arians out there. My mother was an Aries, divine Aries. I don't know if she's on here tonight, but you may hear this later. Happy birthday coming up to you. Yeah. So, happy birthday to the Aries community on March 20th, 2026. The sun enters Aries. Happy birthday to all Aries out there, and happy new astrological year to everyone. This is the real beginning of a new cycle, a new hero or heroine's journey. The sun's ingress into Aries marks that threshold moment when we shift from waiting for things to happen out there to making things happen ourselves. Aries in general, and particularly 0 degrees Aries, carries that primordial ignition energy, generating incredible momentum. This is pure birth energy. March 20th and the days that follow are particularly important for articulating and gaining clarity around your purpose. This is a time to make a commitment. From this point onwards, there's no turning back to the old version of you. And that's from Astro Butterfly. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Isn't that wonderful? Absolutely. Love it. Daphne says personal and collective healing are not separate. Yes, and we need to remember that. Yeah. And Miranda Hurd says, "I'm feeling it now." Yes, you are. That's a beautiful energy that's coming in. Yeah. Beautiful. Love it. So, of course, also on the 20th, we have the equinox. It's a day of balance and harmony as the hours of lightness and darkness are equal. This is a time to experience the cosmic truth that everything will return to balance because that is how the universe works. Woo! I can't stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. So on the 20th, see, we're being gifted with this remembrance. about the universe is always working to get things what? Yeah, back into balance. Yeah, it goes out of balance. Why? To get back in balance. Out of balance, back in balance. Yeah. So remember that. Don't go into despair, my darlings. Do not waste your time going into despair. Feel the pain, cry the pain, especially for people who are on the front lines right now, suffering, struggling, starving, in pain, scared, in despair. Yeah, cry for that. But don't believe that this is the end of the story. It's not. It is a process for human growth and development. We're going to get back into balance big time. And I think because this journey of out of balance has been so painful, especially for the United States. Oh yeah, it's going to stay in balance a much longer time. Yeah, because people will be like, "Oh no, we're not doing that again." At least not now. So, spring has arrived. Can you believe it? I'm looking out my window at the results of the blizzard, right? It's like spring is coming. But this is, the winter, the north wind is just wanted to get one more pass in before he has to give up to his brother from the south. So, as the sun enters fiery, passionate Aries in the northern hemisphere, we are moving away from the cold winter and planting the seeds of opportunity that grow and bloom over the spring. This equinox is an important one as it marks and anchors a new path, a new trajectory, and allows for the creative current of the time to forge its way forward and support progress as we envision the future. Honor this time of change by observing and acknowledging what may need a fresh start or a second chance. If you are still mired in something old that you could just not extricate yourself from, such as a responsibility that was not yet ready to release you, use the equinox to do a reset that places you on the right track. It is a time to dream, to be inspired, and to focus and feed what is new in your life. I rest my case. Absolutely. Yep, yep, yep. And for folks down under, because they're going into the fall, that is totally about a releasing too, but it has a different vibration to it. It's like their focus is more on ending, while ours is on this beginning. And theirs is about closing out and doing that gracefully, not holding on, while ours is about opening up and again doing that gracefully, not holding on. Yeah. So it's very fascinating how the universe works. Yeah. Now, also on this day, just to point out the importance of the sun in astrology, the archetypal and incremental seasonal change. And this is another great teaching the universe does for us because it shows things happen in increments, things happen in season. So, as the center of our solar system and the force that makes life on Earth possible, the sun in astrology represents the light of our conscious awareness. Each season, his or her journey through the 12 zodiac signs illuminates a different archetypal energy, inviting us to explore and embody its unique expression. And so, with this season up north of spring and the one down fall, this is a time for something that is, very specific, very symbolic. So it's important that we make note of that and we acknowledge that. When we were all farmers or hunter gatherers, we had to acknowledge it because you had to get ready and figure out how you were going to survive the winter or what you were going to do for the summer. And, in modern times, we have forgotten the importance of this change in season because it's really also talking about the change in ourselves. I think the worst thing about modern culture is that it told you that once you reach a certain age, you're done. You're an adult, you're done. And people really forgot that no, you're always growing. You're always being stretched and grown. You'll never stop growing until you take your last breath. Like, things are always moving and changing. Nothing's stagnant. Ugh. And so this is a part of our new earth consciousness that we're accepting that things are flexible and moving and turning around. There's no straight line, it's circular. You can go here, come back, And it's important that we remember that. And that's what the seasonal change is about, to remind us that it is important and essential that we keep changing and growing. Yeah. And so, happy new astrological year. Aries season is a reminder that courage doesn't mean absence of fear. The sun's ingress into the first sign of the zodiac marks the beginning of a brand new astrological year and invites us to initiate, to take risk, and to choose ourselves without guilt. The sun's journey in the sign of his traditional exaltation allows us to access more vitality, passion, and determination. Absolutely. And that's from Moon Omens. Love it. And Emily SP722 says, new chapters like new seasons. We have to liberate ourselves from those old indoctrinations. Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that I am probably yes, and Emily says, "In thinking we are done after a certain age." Yeah, like, right? Well, ain't no done here. Like, um, I'm sorry, this video is probably gonna go for an hour, maybe a little over an hour, but it's a snow day, so I'm taking my time, but I'm just giving you just some bits of wisdom as they're coming along. And this one for me personally, I recently gave up sweets, any form of, sweet that's not coming from a fruit, and even certain fruits are too sweet, and I leave them alone, but I also had to give up starches, and I was addicted to rice noodles, I was eating me some ramen up and down, um, but I had to let all that go, and what's happened, it's been about, I think about 28 days now, when I was drinking my tea without any sweetener in it and just some really good almond milk, no sweetener, it hit me that for 27 days I've been doing that without a problem. So I asked myself, so why do you think you need sweetener in your tea? And I realized it's the conditioning. Yeah, yeah. And there was a time where I was in a lot of emotional pain unconsciously, and so this was how I was sedating it. I was had to have something sweet in my mouth. But I realized that, oh, gosh, I've stretched and grown. I've healed. I don't need sugar in my tea. Isn't that amazing? I never thought I'd be saying that. I'm glad this is getting recorded because I might need to come back and look at this to remind myself. But truly, it's like, yeah, absolutely. Emily's giving me love and claps. I love it. And Miranda says, I give up cigarettes. Yes, absolutely. And that's just to say that there is an energy that we're experiencing right now, my darlings, that is supporting us letting go of these things, these conditionings that we've done, identified with, believed in, that we really don't need anymore. Yeah. So on a personal level, and then of course on a collective level, we really are being supported in this. Love it. And now the other wonderful thing that is happening on the 20th is Mercury is going direct in Pisces. Yes. Mercury goes direct at 8 degrees Pisces, clearing some of the mist that has always gathers in the last sign of the zodiac. But if we are really honest, sometimes we like getting lost in that fog. Sometimes we need that silence, that drifting, that liminal space, that space where things are not sharply defined in order to reconnect with ourselves and what actually matters. As Mercury moves forward again, the insights gathered during the retrograde begin to crystallize. What was vague starts to make more sense. Yes, and that's from Astro Butterfly. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Love it. And next, with the start of a new season, we're also moving forward with our thoughts and communication. With our heads in the clear and our feet on the ground, we can finally move forward with wise judgment. As Mercury prepares to resume forward motion, a new awareness relative to the meaning of recent experiences becomes accessible. New information could emerge around this time, helping us make more informed decisions or see our reality from a new perspective. In Pisces, Mercury reminds us that not all learning processes are linear and invites us to be attuned and receptive to what is not explicitly said. Reading behind the lines, right? Mercury stations direct in Pisces while conjunct with the north node of the moon. The conjunction with the north node adds more karmic relevance to this event, suggesting that the insights and ideas we access now could have a strong and unexpected impact on our journey. And again, just more really, really wonderful, just more wonderful support and validation. Yeah, Emily says, so exciting. Hallelujah. Sluggishness be gone. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I love it. Yeah, and you don't even realize, how maybe held in a liminal space you've been with a retrograde, and especially a Mercury in Pisces retrograde, until you start to come out of it. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very fun. Very fun. And the other important thing about the 20th, because Mercury is going direct, yeah, as Mercury goes forward, so does the fire horse. Remember the fire horse of Chinese astrology? Yeah. And he's unbridled. Also, all the planets are now moving direct. And that really does matter. We haven't had that since last year, maybe this time. I don't even think this time because I think Pluto was already retrograde by now. But again, just know that things are moving forward. Things are moving forward. The fire horse represents to huge transformation, like with the violence, the warring that's going on. That's a fire energy, and it really is transformative energy. It's very radical and it's very painful. But this is what's happening. So, yeah, and again, in our personal lives, what is transforming? And if you're not aware, you will be made aware because that fire horse on the 20th, that bridle is gone. He's like, boom, he's bolting out. He is bolting out. So, yeah, here we go. All right. We leave the 20th and we come to the 21st. And on this day, we get Mars in Pisces trining Jupiter in Taurus. It's a flow energy. This harmonious aspect supports our ability to act with optimism, faith, emotional intelligence, and trust in the great scheme of things, right? Trust the process. This alignment invites us to expand, to grow, and explore paths and possibilities that nourish us emotionally and spiritually. Yes. Yes. How wonderful. And that coming after all that great energy on the 20th, right? So it gets carried forward. Love it. And then on Sunday, the 22nd, we have, and I think this comes down to the fifth conjunction of the month, or it might be the fourth, because I know there's five of them. And this one is the sun conjuncting Neptune and Aries. Oh, this will be the fourth one. That's right. Because the sun is also going to conjunct Saturn. But this temperamental aspect encourages us to approach situations with kid gloves, Don't just jump into situations with bluntness. Be sensitive to the emotions of others without being overwhelmed by them. And this is talking about, just, yeah, yeah, consider others and not just yourself. Consider others and not just yourself. Absolutely. And then on the 25th, we get the sun now conjuncting with Saturn. And that message is this duty bound aspect reminds us of the duties and obligations we have. Strong possibility of taking on extra responsibilities as we honor our commitments. While this can be draining, with enough hard work and discipline, we'll be rewarded in the end. And, an aspect like this to me talks about like something that is much more serious. It's not just something you decide, oh, yeah, I'll take that on. No, 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 no. This is going to be like, caretaking somebody. Um, it may be something in a job where, folks left everything in a mess, and so somebody's gotta take on responsibility for straightening it out, cleaning up. It's gonna be that kind of a situation it's talking about. And again, it's not for everybody, but this is just the cosmos saying, "Here's a great potential for the responsibility in your life to really kinda grow for a minute," yeah. And hopefully, it's just a responsibility for yourself, right? Taking care of yourself. Emily says, "Virgo here." Hey, Virgo. Yeah, you got the nodes hanging out with you. You're in the South Node this year. So, yeah, look that up if you don't know all about it. I did do some video stuff on that, but it's nice when you go look, especially because of your birth chart, about the South Node in Virgo right now. Yeah, just like the North Node in Pisces. It's very fascinating. Love it. We here, we can stay. Absolutely, Daphne. Absolutely. And we gotta stay. We got sacred contracts. We got work to do. We can't get out of this. So also on this day, we have the sun in Aries sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. Don't give up on your dreams, as this determined aspect can help you overcome any obstacle to achieve your goals. You just need to work faithfully, patiently, and take a few calculated risks. So, just some good enthusiasm. Again, as we're coming out of that energy of the 20th, right? Just trust your dreams, stay discerning, be caution, be kind, be compassionate, but yeah, focus on your dreams. Your dreams can come true. And then on March the 26th, this would have been my mother's 93rd birthday. Yeah, she died in 2021. So, no, I'm lying. She died in 2001. 2001, but she would have been 93 this day. And here we have Venus conjuncting Chiron. Now, Chiron has been in Aries for 8 years already. I think it's been 8 years, 7 to 8 years. And he's all about healing. And in Aries, it's about what? Yeah, the focus is on us, on our personal healing, which will affect the collective. But Venus conjunct Chiron comes with the opportunity to embrace our vulnerability and heal our heart. Isn't that delicious? Venus is the planet of love, relationships, and personal values. Venus is what is important to you. Chiron is the wounded healer and shows us where we feel broken and inadequate. And these feelings of shame, brokenness, and inadequacy will eventually trigger our desire to find what's wrong and ultimately heal. Isn't that delicious? Here's some more message for you. Venus Chiron conjunction in Aries, healing the wound, healing the heart. On March 26, 2026, Venus is conjunct Chiron at 25 degrees Aries. That's a later degree, reminding us where there is still healing to be done, where there's still acceptance needed around the I am. In the past 7 years, while Chiron has been in Aries, every single year we have gained a little more self understanding, a little more courage to stand in who we are. So that's been right 7 years. So we're talking 2019, right before COVID. But we have come a long way. Believe it or not, this is the very last Venus Chiron conjunction in Aries, at least for the next 43 years or so. Venus conjunct Chiron will bring one final breakthrough in how we relate to ourselves and a deeper recognition that we are enough as we are. Woohoo! Just as Mr. Rogers said, people can love you exactly the way you are. Yeah. So, one more message about this conjunction. The Venus Chiron conjunction going exact on March 26th brings our attention to unhealed relational wounds that need to be cared for. Themes around rejection, self worth, vulnerability, the pain of not being chosen, and old insecurities could be triggered and become more visible around this time. This alignment is a potent opportunity to rewrite old narratives about love, about what we deserve, and about what is possible for us. The Venus Chiron conjunction may remind many of us that we heal when we stop hiding our vulnerabilities from others. And I'll add to that when we stop hiding our vulnerabilities from ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. There was a time I thought I was superwoman. Yeah, I really did. I thought, oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm good. So we do have to open up to our shadow, open up to our vulnerabilities so that we can heal them. If you can't see it, you can't think it, you can't touch it, you can't work with it. So we need to know. So just remember that on this day. If something disrupts or triggers you, it's for your greater good. Ashe. And then we come to Saturday, the 28th, our last aspect for the month of March. And it is, last two aspects, excuse me. And it is Saturn in Aries, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. This determined aspect can help you endure any hardship that comes your way today. Use your inner power to overcome challenges like a phoenix. All that hard work will pay off with great success. Absolutely. And more message for this on March 28th, 2026, Saturn at 5 degrees Aries is exactly sextile Pluto at 5 degrees Aquarius. This is a subtle yet constructive transit, suggesting that deeper structural changes are starting to gain practical support. Saturn brings discipline and implementation. Pluto brings systemic transformation. The sextile between them suggests that the world may begin putting some operational plumbing in place. And boy, do we need it. Get rid of all that. Conversations around infrastructure, perhaps something connected to energy systems or strategic alliances, could start moving from idea to execution. This is not loud or dramatic, but it is functional. And sometimes that's exactly what is needed for real change to take hold. And that is from Astro Butterfly. And then there is one more day. I thought this was the last aspect. No, this is the last aspect. This is on the 29th. And here we have two more aspects. I keep forgetting about Juno is entering Aquarius. And this is really powerful too. This is really powerful aspect. So, just a reminder, named after the queen of ancient Roman gods and representing commitment in relationships, Juno is a large asteroid in the asteroid belt and the third asteroid discovered in 1804. Juno in astrology can illuminate new insights into just how you thrive in long term commitments and relationships. Juno in Aquarius energies supports seeking partnership that protects individuality while building a future bigger than either person alone. It struggles when rules replace respect and learns to root intimacy in equality, honesty, and shared vision. With Juno and Aquarius, you find it easier to value an intellectual soulmate who encourages personal evolution versus transactional constraints. And Juno will be in Aquarius until January the 27th, although she will go retrograde. I believe it's in June, and she'll retrograde back into Capricorn, but then she'll go forward in Aquarius into January. So, really powerful. So, for those of you who are really wanting to get beyond the transactional relationship, yeah, this is going to bring a lot of help with that. I could do a whole workshop on that. And then on Monday, March the 30th. This is really interesting, and I just have to come on and say this. I thought that the astrology only went to the 28th. I forgot it did go to the 30th. So in my, promo, I say from the 16th to the 28th. Forgive me. I'll try to clean that up. I think I can. I think I can clean that up. We'll see what YouTube will let me do. But anyway, no, we have one last aspect, and it is a lovely one. This is Venus entering Taurus. On March 30th, 2026, Venus enters her sign of domicile, Taurus. Picture Aphrodite in the hanging gardens of Babylon, pure, effortless beauty, rooted in nature. Even if we do not naturally connect with Venus from this more earthy, sensual angle, and that depends, of course, on our own natal chart wiring and current transits, every time Venus is in Taurus, the atmosphere shifts a little bit. The world feels a little more grounded, a little more tangible, and a little more beautiful. And more message for you. Venus is coming home to its ruling sign, one of its ruling signs, as a planet of love is welcome in the sensual and luxurious sign of Taurus. As the calendar month comes to a close, Venus enters her Earth domicile of Taurus. Here, Venus invites us to blossom, open, and ground in a deeper self worth and self love. Venus's journey through the sign of the bull is an opportunity to cultivate receptivity, slow down, and honor the importance of pleasure. This transit is an invitation to invest more into what nourishes us, make more space for sensuality and presence, and create a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. Imagine that. Venus and Taurus teaches us that self love is a practice and is built through being committed to honoring our bodies, our boundaries, and our peace. And that's from Moon Omens. Wow. Wow, 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 right, folks? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I will definitely, I might start that tonight, but I'll work on it tomorrow. I'm gonna put timestamps for you, especially for the 20th. If I do nothing else, I'll get the timestamp for the 20th because I know you might want to look back at that, but I'll try to get all of them in so that you can find it more easily just to be reminded of these incredible energies. And also a reminder about this anomaly, this very rare alignment, the magic triangle that involves Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And it is happening from 2025 into 2028. And it's an amazing period of discovery and revelation that can benefit all of us, but especially those in Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius. And this is such a harmonious alignment, and it is powerful for a long time. And remember, these are the outer planets. These are the outer planets. These are the planets that really affect the collective. So it's very powerful and wonderful. And I love reminding us of this. Yeah. Also, of course, please join me every day, morning, noon, and night, in praying for world peace and to also, really, really be considerate about the fact that there are people right now suffering in the world. And if you're here in the United States, yeah, this is bad karma, very bad karma. So we can ease some of that karma if we are really putting some time and attention to send up prayers for the end of this war, end of this conflict, praying for world peace, and staying at peace in ourselves. That's really important. And that's why I love the venerable monks. And I do this exercise and encourage you to do this too every morning when you get up. Write it down, read it over and over, say it out loud. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Ashe. Yeah, really important. And so, my darlings, there you have it. Thank you, those of you who stayed on and supported these teachings. It is my great pleasure to share these with you. Like I said, it's important that we have a compass in life, especially now. Um, I can't say that enough. I can't say that enough. And yeah, we can get through this. Yeah, this is my cosmic cottage. I love that. 11111, 5 ones. Yeah, very powerful energy. Thank you for those prayers. Yeah, let's keep sending up the prayers and know that together we really can create a big enough vibration to really start living the new earth energy because it is here. It's here for us to access. We don't have to wait for it like I was 30, 40 years ago. No, it is here. It is now. And God bless all the new generations, Generation Z, X, whatever you want to call them. I know I call them the new earth children. They birth in the new earth, and I love them. They are amazing. They are powerful. People complain about them, but you have no idea what these children have brought into this earth plane and what they have the power to do. They just don't participate in the medieval stuff. That's what gets you upset because they're here on a mission and they're very clear and they're very powerful. They're very courageous and they're very, very strong. Yeah. Absolutely. Love them, love them, love them. Emily says, thank you for peace and harmony for all mankind. Yes, stay warm. I will. I'm staying right here in my apartment. I ain't going out. Thank you for the teaching. Miranda, you are so welcome. My great pleasure. So, my dears, as the powerful, venerable monks say, may you be well, may you be happy, and may you be peaceful. Yes. And I will see you back for my final live stream of this month next week with Wisdom Walk Talk, where I'll be talking about grief and praise, one of our 5 collective commitments for 2026. Yeah. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Be well and be safe and love on yourself. That's all we need to do. Love on ourselves. Hey, Truth Freeman, TAT, love you.